And then we also were lucky enough to be able to acquire the URL for Ripple. It came from a Grateful Dead super fan. It's related to the song Ripple from the Grateful Dead. We always loved the Grateful Dead.
I've been a Grateful Dead fan for 50 years, so.
It's related to the song Ripple from the Grateful Dead. We always loved the Grateful Dead.
It's a Greek symbol. And so out of that, we create a logo called the Triskelion, which is our Ripple logo.
Buy crypto, suckers!
We're here to cover the sneak preview of our new sponsor, Excellent Burger.
Excellent Burger. Well, they seem to be succeeding. $700.
Just getting word, Springfield Dam is ruptured and water is roaring down.
Our work on Phoenix, which continues to be in kind of alpha/beta, and
the XRP ledger is an open source, decentralized technology, not dissimilar to Bitcoin. And some of the creators of the XRP ledger actually had been early engineers that worked on Bitcoin.
So the idea was to build both a more efficient consensus algorithm that accomplished the same thing. That's sort of effectively the birth of XRP.
I have been developing my own cryptocurrency.
To be in cash of the future, not in your wallet, I'm in your computer.
So will Frinkcoin finally be the invention that makes me rich? This equation, if solved, could make all digital coins worthless, including Frinks.
Could make all digital coins worthless, including Frinks.
Someone posted a solution on the whiteboard.
Did I do it?
Equation was solved. Solved by the one person who could solve it. Professor John Frink.
Ripple actually goes back to these three geniuses, one of them sitting right here, taking some of the ideas from the Ripple project around the idea of pathfinding algorithms to exchange anything of value for any other thing of value, kind of a magic combination.
If you've been following the breadcrumb trail that I've been laying out across social media, then you know we're standing at the edge of something massive. I've discovered a secret connection between a 1997 Simpsons archived episode and the 2026 Great Reset that everybody out there on social media has been talking about. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain on everything. But for those of you just joining this investigation, you need to understand this isn't just about a cartoon. We're looking at a 38-year blueprint of social engineering that has accurately predicted some of the world's biggest events, from global pandemics, Donald Trump's presidency, to the exact rise of digital currencies. And right now, as the markets are bleeding and the old system is breaking, the most important prediction they ever released is about to trigger. And in this video, I'm going to reveal several hidden predictions that most people laughed off as just a joke, but when you run one of them through modern predictive AI, it points to a total wealth migration in April. But before I show you all of the facts, you have to understand the foundation. You have to see why the 1997 crypto barn was just the seed for what is happening to your portfolio right now. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the world is ending or the moon mission is going to happen on April 1st. I'm here to show you that April of 2026 could very well be the hard-coded gateway, which is a point of no return for the global financial architecture that they're laying out. Now, what does this mean? You see, the elite, they don't leave wealth to chance. They use high-level mathematics and even astrology to design their protocols. And while most of the world is looking at a cartoon for entertainment, the global banking elite are looking at a calendar for execution. So the Easter egg I'm going to show you, it isn't just a random clip. It aligns perfectly with the deadline that the world's biggest banks have been quietly preparing for behind closed doors for over a decade.
I will explain cryptocurrency by clicking the link to TV's most beloved scientist, Mr. Jim Parsons.
People think I'm a nerd, but I'm actually super cool. That's why I'm here to talk about the really cool subject of distributed consensus-based cryptocurrency. Kachinga. could a nerd do that? I don't think so. For cryptocurrency to work, we need a record of every transaction that occurs. These are recorded in what's called a distributed ledger.
I'm a consensus of shared and synchronized digital data spread across multiple platforms from Shanghai to Grenada. Each day I'm closer to being cash of the future. Not in your wallet, I'm in your computer. Oh yeah!
When you use the currency, the transaction is recorded in the ledger.
Now, I don't know if you caught that. 99% of people would have missed it. But in a cartoon filled with jokes, they chose to hand the literal book of records to a character named April at the exact second that Jim Parson explains how transactions are recorded forever on the ledger. But if you think that that's just a coincidence, you have to see the math here. Because before we look at the technical receipts, we have to talk about the language that the elite use. The elite communicate through what's called gematria. Now, before we break out the tinfoil hats here, you have to understand that gematria, it isn't magic, it's mathematical ciphers. In ancient Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, there were no separate symbols for numbers. Every letter was a number, and this means for thousands of years, the elite, the architects, and even modern cryptographers at the NSA, the National Security Agency, have used this alphanumeric language to hide their plans in plain sight, and I'll prove it to you in a second. Because we don't guess about the future here. We're decoding the manual that the globalists are using to build the new financial system. And if you want to know what they are planning, you have to stop reading the headlines and start listening to what they're saying that goes much deeper than the surface. For example, Ripple's co-founder, Chris Larson, says that they got their Ripple domain from a Grateful Dead superfan. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, admits that he's been a deadhead for over 50 years.
Well, it was terrific. What can I say? So it was great. I've been a Grateful Dead fan for 50 years. So
now, if you type in Grateful Dead into a gematria calculator, it comes up as triskelion. Now, this ancient triple spiral is the foundation of the Ripple logo. It's about the flow of energy and money. And recently, Donald Trump just appointed the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, and listen to what he said.
It would have been even worse for the rest of the world. So that's what we did in crises. And, you know, some of your and my friends on the right, including at institutions we care deeply about, their views then were you should let the system burn down. A phoenix will rise from the ashes. You really have no business in doing this.
Now, in this scene right here in The Simpsons, where the all-seeing eye says,
Buy crypto, suckers!
Jesus is sitting right there. Now ask yourself, what is Jesus a member of? The Holy Trinity. But the elite don't just use a cross, they use ancient symbols of the Trinity to hide their tracks. One of those is the triskelion, which is the Ripple logo. The other is the fleur-de-lis. And if you look at the 1988 Economist magazine cover predicting a one-world currency, look at the head of the phoenix. Sitting right there is the fleur-de-lis. These aren't separate ideas. They are the same triple flow signature right in plain sight. Now, as you already know, the all-seeing eye in the Simpsons scene is from the dollar bill. And this is the eye of providence, representing God watching over humanity, and specifically the new American nation. And if you type in the phrase on the reverse side of the dollar, annuit coeptis, into gematria, you get Phoenix Rising, One Big Beautiful Bill, and Excellent Burger. Now, seemingly random, but there's no such thing as coincidences, because in one episode, Marge invests into Excellent Burger, and it goes vertical.
I found XLN stock. How much would you like to buy?
I don't know. How's 10 pairs?
Submitting order for 1,000 shares of XLN stock. Please confirm.
Confirm?
Ignoring question mark. Buy order executed.
Oh no, Maggie, I accidentally bought Excellent Burger stock. Alexa, sell those stocks.
Ordering yellow socks.
You get everything wrong. Excellent Burger. Well, they seem to be succeeding, but I'd feel awful if the stock would up. It just went up. We made money. $700.
So that's a subtle nod hinting at the Phoenix Project. Even Brad Garlinghouse was filmed in 2010 walking through the AOL office talking about the Phoenix early stage development.
Our work on Phoenix, which continues to be in kind of alpha/beta, and
now this goes much deeper. The whiteboard in the Frinkcoin episode shows SHA 256.
Someone posted a solution on the whiteboard. Frink is ruined.
Did I do it? No.
I guess we'll never know.
Which is a cryptographic hash function created by the National Security Agency, the NSA. Well, do you want to know who worked for the NSA previously? Ripple CTO David Schwartz. And in 1988, the same year as the Economist Phoenix cover saying to get ready for a world currency, well, David Schwartz filed a patent for a multi-level distributed processing system the exact same year. And when you plug in David Schwartz into the Gematria calculator, it reveals God's secret plan, flip the switch, and XRP one world currency. Now, if this isn't strange enough, if you want to see how deep the rabbit hole really goes, let's look at the Crypto Barn episode from 1997, because it's not what they hid in this episode that is the final piece of the puzzle. It was what was created after this episode aired. And they aren't just guessing that the system will reset. They have hard-coded the migration into the very protocols that run our world. They've built a digital dome, so to speak, around the economy, made of ISO-compliant code. Now, in the Simpsons Tapped Out game, which was developed by EA Games, one of the largest gaming companies in history, they updated the barn. And it's the most expensive property in the game, costing 81,000 coins. But here's the smoking gun that you need to pay attention to. When you tap the crypto barn in the game, the official action is deciphering secret government plans. Now, why would they put that in there? The word deciphering itself means to convert a code into normal language. So they are literally telling you that the government is speaking in code. So when you type in the phrase crypto barn into the Gematria calculator, well, it decodes to Phoenix coin, astrology, stronghold, and even Triskelion. So the crypto barn isn't just about codes, it's about the storage of wealth and government blockchain secrets. Now, you might be thinking, well, it's just a cartoon name and this is just a coincidence. But if you want to see the technical proof of how these royals and institutions have already switched the tracks, look at the SWIFT roadmap. On November 22nd of 2025, the global banking system hit its literal funeral. That was the day that SWIFT officially decommissioned the legacy MT messaging system, which is the old way of moving money globally. As you know, SWIFT is the preeminent global banking company that pretty much connects every single bank to send money globally, and the world was forced into the new ISO 222 language. Now, if we look at what the roadmap is saying comes next, according to the official Bank of England and ISO 222 standards, April of 2026 is the mandatory gateway. On the website, it says, for the November 2026 ISO changes, we are sharing 3 documents which set out the changes for different groups of real-time gross settlement participants. And we expect to publish the final list of changes in April of 2026. Now, this is the month the Bank of England officially publishes the final technical blueprints for the most aggressive phase of the reset. And why does April matter? Because it marks the end of the first full quarter of the stabilization phase. And this is when the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank move from just testing the new digital bridge to full data enforcement. And by April, the unstructured addresses, which is the messy, free text way old paper money was tracked, begins its final sunset. In the elite, they are locking the vault doors. They've mandated that by November of 2026, the legacy banking system will only allow transactions that are fully tracked, structured, and monitored. And April is the manual handover. It's the month they give the banks the final blueprint on how to wall off the old world. So if you're still trying to figure this out on your own, when that gateway closes, you aren't just late, you're heading straight into a financial dead zone. And this dead zone is where the do-it-yourself investors end up, the ones who think that they can outsmart a multi-trillion-dollar transition with YouTube rumors or their own Twitter research. It's a state where your wealth is stuck on the old failing rails, but you don't have the technical keys to move it into the new private infrastructure. So you're trapped inside their digital dome, an ISO-compliant cage where they control the off-ramps and the on switch. And in that zone, the old rules of withdrawing your money or private ownership simply no longer apply. You'll be left staring at the screen you can't touch while the rules of the game change overnight. Now, whether this shift is an instant shock or likely a domino effect, the smartest move that you can make is to be positioned before the door locks. But here's the reality. Simply knowing the date it isn't enough. If you try to navigate this transition by yourself, the complexity alone will bury you. And to survive the reset of this magnitude, you need these same architect level strategies used by the top 1%. And while the masses are busy guessing, the elite are executing a private blueprint right behind closed doors. They aren't losing sleep over volatility of the markets or crypto hacks because they are backed by the best minds in the industry. And for the first time, I'm giving you access to the exact same level of expertise. Over the last 5 years, I've assembled a team that operates at the highest levels of global finance. My lead researcher comes directly from a crypto powerhouse that hit a $10 billion market cap. And my consulting partner has spent years advising 8- and 9-figure private offices on how to protect your wealth during structural resets just like this one. And what I've done for you is put together a free training through the link in the description below. This training, I'm probably not going to leave this training up forever because this is the entrance into an exclusive community where you don't just buy crypto, you get a dedicated one-on-one mentor who's been in the rooms where these decisions are made. We show you how to build your own private, self-sovereign vault using the same protocols that the world's wealthiest families use to stay outside the dome and become their own banks. And if you want to stop being a spectator and start being an insider before the gateway closes, then watch that training and apply to work with my team today. We only have room for a few dedicated professionals to maintain the level of elite quality that we provide. So don't try to navigate the Great Reset alone. You need the right people in your corner. And before you click the link below, I have to ask you this. Do you think that this digital dome is being built for our protection or for their total control? And do you think The Simpsons is just a silly cartoon, or are secret societies putting their plans out there for you to see as karmic retribution? Because they've made way too many predictions to just call a coincidence. And if you don't know what karmic retribution is, then subscribe to the channel. Because if you want to see how much deeper this rabbit hole really goes and the archive proof, including the patents and private documents that prove that they've been building this for decades, then make sure to give this video a like and drop a comment below, because in my next deep dive, you do not want to miss what I've uncovered. So click the link in the description below, watch that secret video, and I'll see you on the next one. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.